welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and I'm the host of this here podcast. And today I'm joined by my friend Gabby Bach, who's the managing. We got to do something about that. The managing editor at Beauty Launchpad. In years past, Gabby, they've like put us in like a back room almost.
Yeah.
By the way, love that experience as well. But this is different because there's people going around. The energy's different.
Right.
It's like. I mean, I guess we can't get like too intimate and have tears in this room because there's so many people. But in the other rooms we could do that. But
yeah.
But this room isn't that. But welcome. And this is like.
I should be saying welcome to you. I'm local. This is my home turf.
Enough.
Yeah.
That's fair
I
enough.
should be saying welcome to you. Welcome to Rosemont. Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago, right?
That you just heard a little snippet of our special guest.
Can we get in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Bring our guest in.
Cool. All right. So our guest today is going to be at Presley Poe and Friends in a couple weeks. He's a phenomenal barber. You may know him. His Instagram handle is Los Cut It. Los Cuts It.
Yeah, it's Los_cut_it.
Fuck,
Boom,
I messed
nailed
it up.
No, you're good. Los, welcome, man.
What's up, everybody? What's
Dude,
up, guys?
I'm pretty surprised, honestly, that this is the first time we've done this.
It is, yeah. It is surprising, but I was speaking to you guys earlier. Sometimes it's all about perfect timing because there's a lot of times where I meet certain people that have been around in the industry forever. Yeah. Maybe it was just meant for it to be blind this entire time until this very moment today, and here we are.
This is the moment.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense now, right?
Right. So, where are you from?
Chicago, man. I'm home turf.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Where?
Downtown.
Are you actually from like the heart of the city? Because
I was born and raised in Cicero Town. I know you're familiar with it.
Amazing, yes.
But now, my late 20s and early 30s, I've been downtown, Chicago area. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Because technically, like people call this ABS Chicago, but we are technically in Rosemont. It's different.
Outskirts.
It's different.
Yeah.
Well, what's up with the Chicago land?
We're
every time I ask somebody that, they do that.
The Chicagoland. It's kind of like bringing in the outskirts cities and towns into Chicago. But when you say Chicago, period, that means the city of Chicago. The Chicagoland area is, all right, Schaumburg, jump on in. All right, Naperville. All right, Rosemont.
Not Naperville.
Well,
Naperville loves to
that's too far.
consider themselves Chicago. That's like suburbs. That's closer to me because I'm in Orland Park, if you know where that is. That's like right on the border.
I had a great sushi meal in Naperville, if we're throwing shit.
I do love Naperville.
Great food, yeah.
There's an indie bookstore that I love. Shout out to anyone who reads, called Anderson's Bookshop in Naperville, that I love to pieces. And if I go to Naperville, it's because I'm going into there. I love them.
It's just a little too far for me. Everyone's always complaining about, oh, you're in the city, you're too far. But I'm like, no, you're too far. I'm right where it needs to be.
You're supposed to be.
Yeah. You're out there.
In the suburbs, which is where I am. And where our offices are. Beauty Launchpad has our offices in Carroll Stream, Illinois, which is more, it's close to here. It's like maybe 15, 20 minutes from where the convention center is, but is more up north.
Beautiful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How did you find the industry?
How did I find
like barbering?
Well,
how'd you get? I mean, did you start like just hitting on hair?
I famously tell this story a lot. I started when I was 12 years old, and it wasn't because I had this inspiration about becoming a barber or hairstylist. It was because my father never took me to get a haircut. And when I was growing up, short hair was a thing. Just like now, the youth, if you pay attention, youth is growing their hair out. You see me, I'm growing my hair out. It's what's trending. Back in my day, short hair was everything. So my father was very old school, never took us, and I have this full head of hair, and one day I just got mad at him, and I cursed him out at 12 years old, and he got up and he said, hey, you want to cut your hair every week? Buy your own machine. I don't care what you do. You can go bald for all I care. So I went to Walmart, and ironically, I bought a Conair clipper. And at the time, it was a called Conair. It wasn't Babyliss. It was nothing else. It was a Conair. And I bought it, and I messed my hair up. And by the time I got to high school, I was pretty good and started cutting people in high school and just used it as a hustle and a way to meet people and have relationships. And again, it wasn't cool. People would say, what do you do for a living, Los? Oh, I'm a barber. Oh, nice. What's your plan B? I swear to God, I would hear it all the time. And social media came along and Instagram came along and just pretty much took the barbering world to pretty much what it is and more. And I'm glad I stuck with it because it's just something that I'm rooted in as an artist, but I'm rooted in as in the sense of being a businessman and a hard worker. I think I come from that generation of, my dad waking me up early Saturday mornings to clean the alleys and yards and all that. Putting that hard work into just being an artist in general and allowing myself to become and do the things that I've done. And I think it just opens so many doors. So when I tell people I've never had a real job in my life, I never signed the job application. I never had a job interview. I don't know what that's like. I never had a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. Everything I have and become is all based off just cutting hair.
Love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's crazy, yeah.
Before, like you mentioned, like it really popped off like with Instagram and stuff. Were you doing like the real intricate work that you were doing before that, or is there a part of you that kind of was doing it for Instagram because you knew?
I think at the time MySpace was a thing, and you all remember MySpace.
Yes.
Everybody had the cool profiles with the songs.
I was a little too young for MySpace. I never had a MySpace account, but I am aware
well,
it exists.
we're both cussing you out in our head, but carry on.
MySpace was ahead of its time.
Yes,
to be able to do what you can, and at the time barbering was what really kicked it off, but Instagram is what took it to the next level. And that's when I started seeing barbers, not just in my hometown, but people in Europe, people in Japan, and I started seeing what's really out there, and I was like, holy crap. Like, I thought I was good. So what started as just doing designs and lines on people's heads, now I'm sure, Corey, you guys can see my work and be like, that's Lowe's cutter work. Yeah. I've been able to identify even though I do designs, it's a way to have it where it's a signature touch where you can look at it and know it's my work. And that took 20 years plus to create, you know? Yeah. But that's just how I did it. I was always an artist. My mom used to draw when she was little, so when I was bored and I didn't have clients, I would just call my little cousins or people that I knew and cut their hair for free and just do whatever.
That's very cool. Mm-hmm. And you're right. There's very few feeds that has that signature. Presley has that. Presley definitely has it. You flip, you go, oh, that's a Presley piece of work.
100%.
Your boy Rob has that. Like you flip through and you see Rob and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know who did it.
Well, hold on. You just did a horse too, though.
I did a horse.
How was
Rob.
that?
Oh, it was.
You did it with Rob?
Yeah, he did his own horse. I did my own horse, and it was just so casual. I went to L.A. and I hung out with him, and he's like, "Dude, what do you want to do?" And I was
cut a horse.
I was on vacation, so one thing I didn't want to do was cut hair. So I was like, let's do this, let's do that, and I was like, man, you know what? And I'm throwing it out there, just like, let's see what happens. And I'm like, yo, you know what would be cool? We could do a horse. And he was like, I got the right guy. He calls him, and the next day we're doing there. The thing about a horse is, if you think of a head, the head, you know, people might take an hour to do a design on a head. But when you look at a horse, the size of his thigh alone is the size of my body. So now imagine carving lines into something as big as your body. How long is that going to take you? So doing an entire body, what we thought in my head was going to take 3 to 4 hours, took 2 days and 8 hours to complete.
Whoa.
Yeah. But people don't see that because they see the 30-second video on Instagram.
Sure, exactly.
Right.
And they think, oh, this is nice. No, we had to wear the same clothes back to back just so it looks like we're shooting.
To have continuity.
The continuity.
Yeah. We lost the sun after 5 p.m. Sun started going down, and that takes a lot of your filming. So it took time, but it was an eye-opener, and it was amazing. What an amazing I was scared as hell.
I don't think I know any other hair artist that's ever done that. Like a horse. I heard you, and I was like, wait, what?
Rob the original. He's been doing it for a couple years.
Yeah,
hold on, I got a question for you. Hold on. I got a question for you though. Like, was his dude in Mexico? Because when he was on the podcast, he was like, his boy just calls him up and sends a plane because it's like, he's like a famous Mexican actor or something.
So
right?
the famous, you're referring to the famous person, Pablo, something Rivera, Pablo Rivera, I don't know. Roberto? I don't know. Something Rivera. I know the last name's famous. And his horses are in this ranch in L.A. where we were at, and that's where
that's what's up.
We were able to use them. I didn't have to go to Mexico to do all that. Even though Mexico's like 3 hours away from where we were at,
it's close.
We didn't have to do all that. And it was just I was scared as hell that the horse was going to kick me back. Like,
I'm scared of horses, bro.
But the guy reassured me. He's like, this guy got hours. So I didn't know horses were valued in the amount of hours they work with people. So if you had a horse that worked with like 5 different groups of people in 3 years and did this many shows, that value goes up because of his hours. I didn't know that. Right?
I didn't know that either.
Because I was like, how do you? He was like, this horse 60,000, that horse 100,000, 120,000, and I'm looking at them. They all look the same. They're beautiful. And I'm like, how do you determine that? And that's when he told me, this one did 3 tours, that one did 2 tours, and I'm like, So because they're used to people, they won't kick the hell out of you when you get behind them.
That's good.
I was like, is he styling horses for the Kentucky Derby? Like, is that a thing?
What in Mexico was a thing. I'm trying to remember. I mean, we interviewed Rob. I want to say it was early COVID, so that was 2020. Yeah. So now we're looking at 5 years, but they were show horses, and they were showing the horses, and he was like doing like the hair tattoos in them to show. They're pretty cool.
Could you imagine having that on the show floor here, just like someone styling a horse?
Man, we will get the entire crowd here, 100%.
That would be crazy. Yeah.
Hey, Babeless, Emily, we need a horse.
That would be sweet.
We need one of those $120,000 horses, so nobody gets kicked in the face.
So dope, man. That was the first time I got really close, and they're dancing for you, and
wow.
And it was an experience.
Did you use the Babeless pet clippers?
No, hell no. I should have, because it probably would have ran through the hair so much smoother. But we were in there just struggling with our blades, and it was working.
So man, so many questions. Sorry, but
No, go ahead.
so like when you like drop trimmers on them, did it like?
No, so that was one thing that I was like kind of scared of happening. So I started off with just the corner, very light, and when I realized it was piercing through, the only thing that I had to do was just take my time. If you try to rush it, it's just gonna get clogged up, and now you're struggling. But
Not like the actual clipper.
yeah. And then what caught me off guard, if you haven't seen the video, I'm gonna show it to you.
Please
The
do.
horse, it was a white horse, beautiful white horse. So I was like, damn, white hair on white skin, how's that gonna work? As soon as I carved my first line, this horse was black skin. So it was the white fur on black contrast skin. Oh, it was amazing. It ended up being
Have you
amazing.
seen those Arabian horses? They're almost like silver colored.
Yeah.
Those
No,
are
man. They're just so expensive. Unless you plan on riding them and doing all this, like just to keep them alive is gonna cost you what you make a year sometimes. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Uh-huh. But
That's so wild, man.
yeah, it was my first time, and we're doing it again later this year. So we talked
are
about.
you?
Yeah, I have to. Come on.
Oh, you got
That
to,
was
right?
great.
Oh, I'm staring at a video right now. Oh, I can kind of see it in the
Oh,
background.
that's really cool.
That's so
Oh,
dope.
yeah, baby's trimmers?
Yeah, I had to.
It is kind of crazy how white that horse is, and then the skin is so
So
black
black.
That's
underneath it.
gorgeous.
No one knew. I didn't even know. I was caught off guard with that, and beautiful. The contrast was amazing.
Was Rob goofing on you?
No, he was actually encouraged. What I like about Rob is, as an artist himself, you get sometimes people that have never done something, so they get really nervous. And Rob was just like, man, you're going to be all right. You're going to kill it. So just by him saying that, it allowed me to feel like, okay, maybe it's not as hard as I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was just huge. It was just like...
That's it.
You know,
So how is it artistically though? Like you're looking at a head that's like 4 inches, right? Like if you're
I was just about
like
to
how
say.
do you expand that out?
So I was just about to say, right? Imagine drawing on a notebook, right? You're drawing designs or graffiti or anything, whatever you're into. But now someone gives you a 20-foot wall. So now these little lines you're creating on such a little piece of paper, you gotta exaggerate.
So it's like a mural almost.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is it feels more like a
everything
mural.
is exact, because now what I would do that's maybe a thin line on a head was probably the size of my wrist on the horse.
Makes
So now
sense.
you have to carve all that to make a thin line.
Was it hard to kind of make that adjustment, or did you have to keep stepping away to make sure
Yeah.
that the weight was there and stuff?
Well, the first 20, 30 minutes was a struggle. What I did in the first 3 hours was probably about 20% of the design, because I was really picky. Once I understood what I was doing, the rest of the design that you see took, which was 70% of it, took about 3.5 hours.
Right.
So I did 3 times as more in the amount of time, just because I started understanding what to look for. Yeah. But just like anything else, you do it long enough, you're gonna adjust to any circumstances you get through. You know.
Amazing.
That's
yeah,
cool.
but it was an experience. If you guys come across horses, bring some clippers with you. Try it out.
Oh, no.
Even if it's just a stick figure, try it out.
See, Corey could try it out. I would not let myself near any hair tool unless it's like dummy proof, because I'm not a hairstylist. I am an editor, so I can write, I can talk about it. I would love to stay
gonna
tuned.
write about this.
Yeah, stay
right.
tuned to Beauty Launchpad. I'm gonna throw a piece up on the website about like styling horsehair. That's crazy. No, I think that's so cool.
That was the
That's
highlight
wild.
of this year so far. I haven't.
It has to be.
And it was like the first week of January.
And this
I'm
is
like,
us
damn.
announcing that Los is going to be doing that at Presley Poe and Friends. He's going to bring a horse.
Bring a horse.
and
Imagine
that's
a
what
horse.
God, could you imagine?
surprise everyone.
And then we have the guy braiding his hair. It was a whole thing. It was amazing.
It's
That was
cool.
crazy.
Just an artistic outlet.
Yeah.
It's got to be crazy, right?
Anything with hair, bring them. I'm with it.
That's
I did
awesome.
my dog. I got a
No,
little
did
Boston
you?
Terrier. That's kind of what encouraged me to do horse. Was I did a little zigzag on my dog, and everyone that video went so viral. And what sucks is because I love my dog, and he's around me cutting people, so him hearing the machine, he's so used to it. But then you start getting attacked by people that love animals, and it just these people don't know you, and they don't know that you're doing like something that's artistic, and they want to just make you feel like
Bad.
man, maybe what I'm doing is bad.
But how is that even? I don't know. So, dude, we're happy to have you back at Presley Poe and Friends this year.
Man, it's an honor. I hear I'm the first to go back to back, and I want to hear from you, Corey. What do you think made that decision? I am curious because I was there the first time last year, and there was a lot of beautiful talent. Everyone that was there, from Rima, Ira, I mean, I could go on. There was so much talent, and then for me to get called back, well, what do you think? Because I don't know.
I mean, 2 things. One is like when you left last year, you were like, I get it. You know, I get what this is. And it's so hard. And even, I mean, and we still don't have the words for it. Like, we don't even know how to explain what it is, because it's such an experience, and it's like, it's 90% experience, 10% hair. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's really hard to kind of explain what that is, especially to like working artists and
Right.
stuff. I think when you showed interest, like, okay, I get it. And then Presley was like, we're bringing Lois back. I mean, there wasn't any discussion or anything like that. I mean, our only rule is that Presley decides who comes, as far as artist goes, who comes and who does stuff. The only thing that we do is we'll debrief, or we'll brief in May, and we'll have, okay, who's on our list next year? You know, we'll have a list of like 10 people, however many people we have, and then me, Katie, and Presley will sit around and like we'll go, not that person. And if one of the three of us say not that person, there's no discussion, there's no debate. That's not what that's up. But once that starts to dwindle down, you go, okay, these are the parameters, these are the people that we can work with, and then we'll start debating, like, does that person fit here? Does that person fit there, or whatever? But you were never even on that list, to be honest, because it's like, well, Los is coming back, so who else can we fit it in? You know, because she knew, so that was it. So that was it. I mean, and I think she really likes like working with you.
That's great.
And it's also cool, dude. Like, your vibe is cool.
Thanks,
you know?
man.
And that's not to say that the other artist's vibe isn't cool, but I think she wants that, and she wants to bring that vibe to the show as well.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, we keep having this fantasy of doing like a greatest hits. You know, like bring Sanvia back and bring. Yeah. We would love to bring Rima back, because
Rima was amazing. That was the first time I got to meet her and see her work, and it was like, wow, yeah.
And just her as a person,
yeah.
and her husband is just
awesome,
as nice
dude.
as him.
Yeah, literally. I was about to say, he took the words out of my mouth. I clicked. I didn't know who he was. I clicked with him first, and then I found out they were. Makes sense.
So here's. I hope they don't hear this, because I don't want them to think wrong about me or anything. But I'm gonna say. Should I say it?
Say it.
Okay. So here's what happened. So like a month. So we do the house and stuff. I don't want to give out too much secret, because it's not everyone's business. But we do a house, and about 2 or 3 months before the show, Rima goes, "Hey, do you mind if Bassam comes?" Her husband, right? And initially I was like, "Is that gonna like kill the vibe? You know, to bring a spouse in, is that going to kill the vibe?"
Yeah.
And not that anything gross is going on or anything like that, but
yeah.
you know, just is that going to kill the vibe? And honestly, up to the point that I met him, I was a little worried. Like, I mean, is he there to like to support, or is he there to
control?
To be in the way?
Yeah,
exactly. You know, and selfishly, like, I wanted to hang out with Rima, because she's so dope and she's such a great artist and stuff. So I was like, is he going to be shadowing? Yeah, exactly. So anyways, when he showed up, and I was like, I don't want to hang out with Rima. I want to go hang out with Bassam.
Seriously, we were by the bonfire just hanging out with him, and it was just dope, man, because you find out that he's just more than a spouse. He's actually he works with her, and they operate together, and just seeing that, one, it's possible, two people working together and being together, and then two, just seeing how much they're growing, and I know, just like, you know, she takes care of a lot for me that I don't have to worry about. I can focus being an artist. I can see that Rima focuses on being herself, being an artist, and he handles all the back end, manages a lot of stuff. And
that's it.
That is just that's a beautiful thing, is when couples work together instead of working against each other, competing. That's the problem.
Well, it's the team. At that point, it is the teamwork, and it's the team. Like, what are you building towards? You
exactly. So
because any friction is building away from.
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And it was almost like after we met her, she just took off after that. Am I lying? Like, her social media just went woof after that.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've been enamored with her for years.
Oh, see,
you know, like,
when I met her, she was at a level where she was loved and appreciated, and it just felt like after I got to see her at Presley, she just took off. Like, her likes, her comments, her interaction with people, all the events she's been booking, I was like, wow. Proud of her.
I love what this show does for people. Like, it'll be my first year going. I'm super psyched. I've been covering it for a few years, and now I finally have the opportunity to get to go myself, and I'm excited to see you teach. Do you want to talk about your class, what you're going to be doing? Do we want to tease that?
Yeah. You guys, what do you guys want to share?
No, you what do you teach?
I would love to,
honestly,
you share. If we can clip this out too, and just kind of share it with the audience and let the people know. I think, one, this show is so unique. Not only was it an honor for me to get asked to come back, it was something that I really wanted to do from the get-go, to just come right back and redo it. I do think that the 10% hair and the 90% experience is a great thing, but also when you're there and you're feeling the vibe, and and you're just seeing different artists' works, I also want to not just give you guys an experience and make you feel good, but show you guys so many tips and tricks. I've been doing men's hair, specializing in men's hair for 26 years. There's a lot of tips and tricks that I've learned to make my life easier. And if there's hairstylists out there right now that are trying to transition into barbering, or just simply trying to transition or understand men's hair or styles in 2025, I want to go in there and not just give you guys a show and show you guys an artistic side of me, but also educate you guys so you guys can build the confidence to approach any type of haircut, whether it's curly hair, long hair, short hair, men's hair, women's hair, they got short hair. It doesn't matter. And I think I shine more when I teach people how I learn things. And I think if people come to this show and really take my class, for example, I even cut the prices in half, you're going to walk out of there and you're going to know something and learn something and leave inspired, because that's what I love doing. I love lifting people, and not just in showing you and sharing with you what I've learned, but also giving you the ins and outs outside of the barber chair or the salon chair. So this class is going to be worth it. Anyone that signs up, I'm just excited to see what we learn.
You know what? I want to double down on that, because I was really surprised last year on while you guys were teaching classes and I was jumping in and out of your class. I was really, not in a bad way, but I was just really surprised at that. I was expecting you to go in there and teach a fade. I was expecting you to go in there and kind of teach like that. But there was so much like how to be a barber that didn't include clippers in your hands. There was so much of that conversation going on, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. See,
I said, oh, okay, we got to have him back next year.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get the misconception that barber is only fading, and I think no, fading is a big part of it. But being a barber is just mastering the communication that you can have with a male client, and understanding tips and tricks that you can combine what you learn with hairstyling and cosmetology, and then bringing it to the barbering world, because it could be intimidating for somebody that's never grabbed a clipper. If I give you a clipper, you feel lost, right?
Yeah.
But if I can break it down in a formula where it becomes understandable, your confidence can just simply go up, and you might be willing to try it. So that is just my thing. I just love being in the industry for 26 years. I can ask anyone how long you've been doing hair, and just based on the years or months they tell me, I know exactly where you're at mentally and skill, and I can tell you what you need to improve on from that moment on, based on how long you've been doing hair. Because I've been doing it for so long, and not only from my experiences, but people that have been in this industry that I get to learn from. So I hear all these stories, learn from this, learn from that, and then I could just share that with anyone.
What was your biggest, on that note, what was your biggest takeaway? Like what did you learn and you're like, I wish I knew that 10 years ago?
At Presley Pope and Friends?
No, just in general.
The biggest takeaway for me...
Man, I wish I knew that 10 years ago.
Can I be honest with you, Corey, without sounding arrogant and cocky? I take major pride in always being ahead of the game. So a lot of the times, I've always tried to just be a trailblazer and try to see what's missing in this industry, and I try to be the one that kind of brings it. And again, in my field, in barbering and designs and what I specialize in. So a lot of the times, I can get inspired from a lot of people, someone that just started and someone that's been doing it forever. But I always try to take those examples and create my own way and my own avenue. So it's really hard to say, ooh, I wish I would have known that forever, because I usually formulate my own way and my own path. But if I had to guess, probably, nothing that comes out to the top of my head, because a lot of the things I try to formulate myself and move differently from others.
That's right.
I don't like to copy no one, and if I do, I'll steal it in a way that you won't even know that I took it from you, because I'll mix and match it in my own way and put it out there,
You're right.
So that's probably that. I could probably say that. All right. So I'm probably gonna chop this up. There's a way that people say, it's a saying that goes, something people copy but a real artist steals, or something like that, right? I probably chop that up. But the meaning behind that is, if you get inspired by people, if I'm watching a person teach a class and you pick up a line and you're like, ooh, that sounds good, most of the time people will recite that. They'll copy it and then repeat it.
Like imitation is the best form of flattery?
Yeah, and even though that's cool, there's nothing worse than when I'm watching somebody and they're repeating exactly what I said. But if you just take anything, whether it's a technique, whether it's a phrase or anything, but you put it in your own words or put it in your own way where it becomes unrecognizable, that's the definition of originality, right? Taking something from its original source and making it so unrecognizable that you don't know where it came from. And that is what I like to do. This is why a lot of the things I say I originated, because I don't repeat it. I just kind of put it in my own way.
I read a book called Hit Makers, and it was about how to make a hit. Like, how do you make a music hit? How do you make a TV show? How do you make a movie
Sounds
hit?
interesting.
It's a really great book, but the only thing I really took out of it was this bit here. So you don't have to read the book. I'm going to tell you. is that what a hit is it's a new approach to something familiar. So it's knowing what it is, right? It's a new approach to something familiar. Because if it's too much of a new approach, we're a little resistant to it. Like, that's too much.
And it takes time to get used to that. Yeah,
exactly. And there's a lot of like PR that needs to go with that. But if you can go like, oh, that's familiar enough, I'm comfortable here, but god damn, that's an effort. Look at that. That's dope, right?
So,
like,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So what's crazy is that you say that. That makes a lot of sense. So a lot of people, being a creative artist, people ask me, how do you become creative? And it's like, how do you explain creativity, right? So creativity, the best way that I found the best way to explain it was you have to understand something so well that it allows you to become creative. So if you understand something that's familiar, a hit, and you just got to put it out in your own way, I always tell people, who's not creative here? You'd be surprised how many people raise their hand. I'm not an artist, I can't draw. But I'm like, all right, who took a GPS to get to this class? A lot of people raise their hand. But if you guys come here for a week straight, you won't need the GPS. You could just probably get here without driving. But if you come here for a month straight, all of a sudden you know where the Starbucks is at, you know where the Dunkin' Donuts is at, you know what restaurant. But if you come in here for 2 months and there's traffic, you know the back ends, the shortcuts. So by understanding something so well allows any one of you guys to become creative in your own way. So same thing, if you know a hit or you know what works, how do you maneuver it in your own creative way? By simply understanding what works when it comes to music. A hit.
That's a great analogy.
Thank you, man.
I love that. That's so great.
I don't know what I was thinking when I came up with that. It happened, and I was like, holy shit.
What, did that just happen now?
No. I came up with this one time on stage, and the only reason why I remember it was because somebody filmed it.
You need a different hit, bro.
Somebody filmed it and sent it to me, and I was like, I said that? But it makes sense because think about it. If you understand something so well, you can move creatively.
Yeah,
so that worked, man.
That's powerful.
Hell yeah.
And they talk about that, right? Like, you need to know the foundation before you break them, and like,
yes.
And that's kind of
a big thing in the industry. I feel like that a lot of hairstylists talking to them have kind of been like getting back to the fundamentals, because I feel like you sometimes lose sight of that with all of the glitz and glamour and everything going on. I've been doing this as an educator, going to shows for over 10 years, and people always ask me like, how do you deal with all this and all that? And I'm like, yo, this is nice, it's cool, you understand it, but this doesn't make me happy. The back end, the real giving back to people, teaching, making people smile, making people feel like it's worth it to come to the show. That is true happiness for me. The glamour, if you walk into Babyliss, you see my face there, and people are like, wow, and that's cool. But we like to say, I don't get lost in the sauce, man. Love that.
That's cool, it's dope, but that comes and goes.
And that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, is because, with Beauty Launchpad, we obviously go and we're at a lot of trade shows and everything, but I also like going to some of the like smaller events as well, sort of like Presley Pose. You're doing stuff that's more, I guess, like I don't want to say niche, but I guess more intimate. Yeah, I love that, more intimate. And what do you feel like on your end? Because I feel like, at least my perception of it is like, the intimate events like Presley Poe and Friends, there's more of that connection, more of that community that I feel like you're talking about, because there is so much chaos happening on the show floor. Yeah. And I really do like those type of events, what it is that you're doing because of that. What do you feel like in your experience, because you've done both, sort of like are the benefits, the differences between the two? And
the benefit in more intimate, because I also do intimate classes and smaller classes, it's that people get to finally see you as a person.
Yeah.
Right? It's dope to be on these major stages and Babyliss and your face is on there. And I think when people see that, they put you on a pedestal where they feel like they can't even approach you or talk to you. Now, I ask my girl all the time, I'm like, yo, what is it about my face or me that people feel like they can't say nothing? She's just like, you look intimidating. So when you're in these areas where people are in the room with you and then they realize, and I've heard it so many times, like, damn, Los, you're actually really chill, bro. You're really cool. I didn't think this because of that. And it's just like, that is the major benefit, because once people feel like you're reachable, touchable, and humble, it kind of sets something in them like, I could do this too. If Lowe's is doing it, I could do it. He's not a superstar. He's not this and this and that. But there's also people that carry themselves like celebrities. Mm-hmm. So watch out for those people, because that a lot of those times could be a facade, man. People sit here and they act like they're
all of that's within insecurity, though.
And that's just driving on. It's a reflection of who you are. I always say it. So to me, it's like, man, look, all this is a bonus, but if I can change people's lives by truly giving them value, that is what matters.
That it's interesting you bring that up, and the way that you brought that up, because when it comes to Presley Poe and Friends, when Katie Presley and I sat down as far as developing it, we wanted to remove that wall. We wanted to break that wall down and go like, that's why, like, we don't hide you guys.
Yeah.
We don't like it's not like when you come off the stage and now you're in a back room someplace. Like, no, we just all hang out and like, and I love the connection that's like, and we really strive for this, is like we want a hairstylist to hairstylist connection, whether you're standing on a stage or whether you're working behind the chair 6 days a week, you know,
Yeah,
and that's what we've really tried. So I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly has been the goal the whole time, is like we want to kind of break that down, but also go like, we're really proud that we bring in the best educators.
It feels reachable. That's the best thing I can tell people. It just feels very reachable. And then whatever the ticket is, whoever you decide to see, just attend the show, light that fire back up, because that's exactly what it will do. And for someone that's been doing here for 26 years, I lost my fire countless times. And every time I ever got it back was being around people like that or just learning something new. So if you learn something new and you meet your idol, you're going to light that fire back up and go to work that following week, and you're just going to be inspired.
And when you realize your idol is not a dick.
It's a 50-50 sometimes, man.
Well, at our show.
Great people. You guys, and you know, Presley's amazing. So basically just knowing who Presley is as a person, it doesn't matter who she picks, because based on who she's going to pick and who's going to be there for her to support, it's just, you know, like, what do they say? Like, anyone who's a friend of her is a friend of mine. That's how I say it. Right. So it just works well.
That's awesome.
I
you
love
don't have
that.
to force it. I can take it back over.
What? I don't know. I just like had a moment where I was just like taking it all in and just like perceiving it. What? No. Yeah. No. I'm psyched to, like I said, to get to be at the show for the first time and get to sort of see like that community, that whole coming together, and get to see everyone, get to hang out and everything. It's going to be so much fun.
It's a cool show, and it's really low key too, which is crazy too. You know, it's not like super hyped up or anything. It's low key, and it's just like communicating as communicators. You know?
That's the beauty of it. I got to experience it the first time, and even though, like you said all that, it's a low key show. It's hyped up. It's not hyped up. It's not this. It's not that. But when you're there and you see how many people attend, you're like, this is not a low key show. This almost feels like people that are in there.
You know what? It's an impactful show.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I had what I was going to say. I had something I was going to say, and then I lost it. Now it's here again. Talking about that, because you mentioned like lighting up like the in-person education. I feel like we do a lot of stuff on social or online or digitally, especially because you talked about earlier in the episode that like the dark times, and how that's sort of like really. I mean, it's great on the one hand that it brought online education, I think, forced people to be more innovative, find ways to like make things more accessible to more people. But do you really find that value in that like in-person education, whether it is like in fun? Because I think like there's more like less of that or a bit of a struggle. Do you feel like there is a struggle there, like getting people to actually like access the in-person education, getting people out? Do you feel like there's a maybe like barrier there or something that could be done better to like make it more accessible?
From the stylist and barber's point of view, a lot of people do feel like, you know, I'm good enough. What do I need to go to these things for? What are they going to teach me? And all that. So shout out to anyone that's ever put their pride to the side and just said, you know what, let me go and just see what I pick up. Because I can tell you, for someone at my level and my accomplishments, etc., that I've learned from students before. I'll watch somebody that's been 1 year in and do something, and I'm like, why do you do that? And they explain to me, and I'm like, never thought of that. I'm gonna start using it. So you learn from anyone, and I think a lot of people, if you feel like you've made it, this is probably the best way to realize where you are. If you feel like you know enough and you made it, then that's you. That's exactly what I'm talking. The moment you stop growing is the moment you stop growing. So take it from me, man. Always learn, because guess what? Styles change, industry changes, everything changes weekly, not daily. Daily, but not yearly, not monthly, weekly, daily. What's cool today might not be cool next week, and if you're not on top of that, you're just going to fall behind. So going to these events, man, you're around people that are around other people that are just going to help you elevate, and that's always what it's been, you know, growing.
What do you see coming for men's haircuts? Because we've seen like
we've
seen the drop fades, we've seen the fades for so long, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but where are we going?
I can tell you exactly where we're going, and mark my words. All right, and you're a proven fact. Watch. So I've been doing this for a long time, and one thing that I've realized from the moment I started cutting hair is everything always comes back to twist, right? So we think back to mullets, mohawks, comb-overs, all these looks that came back.
Why do you got to say comb-over? You broke my heart there.
Or side part. Side part, however you want to do it, right? So all these looks come back. So I've always said, the 90s look came in the early 2000s, where they were doing like the designs, the flat tops and all that, and then what started happening was the comb overs, the mullets, the mohawks that came in, which is like 80s vibe. So what I'm calling it now, what's gonna come, but everything comes back with a twist, right? So now if you take what's after the 80s, 70s. So now think back, right? Guys are growing their hair out. Now you're gonna have guys with longer hair, big fros, real
the
like
broccoli
style
cuts.
70s, the mod cuts like the Beatles.
Yes.
That's all gonna come back in the next 5 years, I promise you. And it's got to hit us barber first. So right now you got people like me that are wearing these new looks, longer style. The new generation, the younger people are doing it, but it hasn't hit the general public because if you go to a barbershop or a salon, people are still asking for the mullet, the comb over. Once, and this is my rule of thumb, once the trend hits the general public where people start coming in and asking for them, the pro side, me, us, we have to be on the next level, on the next page. What's coming? So right now, what's coming? What I'm gonna call it, or think of the 70s. Think of the 70s with a twist, I guess you could say. So however you want to twist that up is up to you. But that's
that makes so much sense because they just announced at CinemaCon, because I mean, obviously I talk about hair, but I do love movies and television. That's sort of my passion, and entertainment. And pop culture and all of that, because I'm a massive nerd. And they just announced the Beatles movie, that like adaptation that's coming out.
Yeah, that's right.
It's got like a massive cast, and so like you're
all
bringing
those haircuts are gonna look fly,
so they're going to be having that on screen, and obviously there's hair on screen, like that's a lot of that defines trends and stuff
I mean,
like that.
not just that. I mean, Presley's kind of giving us that look now too. She just let all her hair grow out.
My point exactly.
To kind of like that.
Bell bottoms are coming in. You guys been seeing the
Yes.
bell bottoms?
Oh, okay, you want someone I want to shout out who has insane hair, who's like very in 70s. I would say he is a combination of Elton John, Elvis, and oh my God, Freddie Mercury from Queen.
Who's that?
His name is Spencer Sutherland. He is an artist, so he's not in hair, but he's an artist. And has like the 70s, like the where's the bell bottoms, the whole fashion.
Yeah,
like
I'm telling you.
he's insane. He's such a good artist. He has 2 albums out. Go and listen to him. If you need like pump up music, because that was one of the things I was going to ask you. Imagine like music in the salon. What are your sort of like go to like pump up songs that
I'm
you
old
like
school.
to listen to?
The barbershop that I worked in,
Okay.
we didn't have music playing because the owner, you guys probably know who he is, Mr. Official. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Big beard. He's always had this thing. Like in my shop, I want my shop to feel so comfortable that even my mom could walk in here and feel comfortable sitting here.
Interesting.
So when you walk in, and there's music, rap music bumping and this and that, and you can't even communicate with nobody, he was always like, we don't need that. We could put it at nighttime when the crowd's different. So I've always gotten used to just having movies playing or the news playing or just anything that brings a value, allowing you to talk to your client. That was our biggest thing. So I used to know barbershops, and to this day, people still blast music 10 a.m. You got Tupac going in.
Yeah.
And it's like, not everybody wants to listen to that. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And not everyone wants all that noise. So I've learned early on that the relationship with the client is the most powerful thing rather than, oh, how do I feel it? Or what did you do last
The
weekend?
ambiance
And the ambiance, yeah.
Love
So
that.
this is why a lot of people are doing
Are you still behind the
private-
chair?
Only for my exclusive clients, people that have been doing for like 20 plus years. Guys that look at me as Carlos and don't even realize what I do for a living. They just know
Really?
that I'm still there serving them and the relationship is still there. And that's what I love because, one, it keeps me grounded, it keeps me still serving people, and it keeps me relatable to everyone still working behind
And
the
those
chair.
are your homies.
Love
And
that.
it's my homies, yeah. Everyone I cut is like family, literally like cousin. And it keeps me sharp, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like they got other things going on in the sense of income, etc. So they're like, oh, I don't need to cut hair no more. They're looking for a way to escape, but forget the reason what got them all this was cutting hair, man. So if you stop cutting hair, you're gonna get rusty. You're gonna take longer. So this keeps me still going active, and still kind of connecting with people when I teach classes and people say, oh, well, you don't cut hair no more. I still do. So I can tell you how to operate behind a chair. But do I promote it? Do I market it? No. There's no link to book with me. I would rather cut people's hair for free than have a link open for anyone to book.
Sometimes. All right, we're going to go down this road. Hold on. I'm going to set it up. You ever get blown away that, like this weekend there's going to be like 60,000 people that come through the door, and we're literally like trimming a dead thing that comes out of someone's body? Like, it's so bizarre to me, like, to
Never
think
thought
that
about it like that.
it's
Getting meta about it?
Well, it's like it's a waste product, right? I mean,
I
hair is a
guess.
waste product.
Well, it's not the
And, like,
same
we-
sort of thing as, like, not to cut you off, but
Oh,
having,
yeah.
like, a meta conversation. Like, a pillow is, like, an inanimate object, for example, but you're like, if you lay on it, you're like, does this hurt the pillow? You know? Like, do you have those sort of, it feels like the same thing.
No,
The, like,
no.
the, like,
No, I think my point is more like
I will run into, like, a side table and, like, apologize to the table and be like, sorry I ran into you.
there was a molecule exchange.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I never thought about it like that.
It's a waste product, right? I mean, that's what hair is. It's like fingernails and like weave. I mean, all of us that are here today have created a career out of like a waste product. Like it's just
That's true.
sometimes I have these thoughts and I go like, so bizarre, you know. It's like it's I love what I do. It's not about that. It's just like when you kind of like break it down to its most basic thing, you're like,
It's not
I've
necessarily
made a career out of this. That's so bizarre.
I think overall, the bigger picture on why this blows up and why it's as big as it's gotten is simply just because we're selling the confidence, right? It's the feeling that you get when you get your hair done and done right.
Fair.
You know, it's not the feeling when you get your hair messed up, but that is what it is, because it is a waste product, right? Me as a man, not even as a man, I don't even want to say it like that, but me just being me, if I cut my nails, it ain't gonna make me feel anything other than clean. But if she gets her nails done,
Richard, she's rocking a
Well,
gorgeous
she's
set
rocking.
over there.
the
Right.
feeling that it makes her feel and all
Right.
that is the main purpose. So when I do hair, it's not necessarily I'm just cutting waste product, I can't believe I'm making money off this. You're really making money off how you're making this person feel. That's really the goal. So that's kind of how I see it.
No, I mean I see it that way too. Don't get me wrong, but if you like,
But it
again,
is
if
crazy,
you get
yeah.
you think about it, you're like,
It's like
Yeah,
selling
but like out of
it's like selling
body.
dirty underwear. Like take a bottle, be like, hey, $20, and someone sells it. You're like, oh crap, I'm just wasting this underwear selling. It's crazy. You see it like that, right? But
yeah, you know, I never thought about my job as selling dirty underwear. Why think it'd be dirty, Los? Why can't they be clean?
because and then I don't know, is it more valuable because it's been used? I don't know, right?
I don't know.
Bringing
I
me
don't
back
listen.
to that, like, I think it was JCPenney. Was it JCPenney? That, like, 2013 commercial? I ship my droids, my underwear.
No?
Do you not remember that commercial?
No.
2020? I don't remember.
No,
I
it
don't
was
remember that.
2013. It's, like, probably 10-something years old.
JCPenney, huh?
I had to have been JCPenney. Some, like a
Really?
mall, something like that they had, like, a commercial that went super viral because it was, like, I ship instead of, you know.
Oh God.
I ship my, and like talking
It
about them
sounds
shipping
like,
stuff.
yeah.
So it sounds like but once we get off of this, I'll see if I can find it. But
I
yeah,
think
it's giving that.
I think
The
I know
vibe?
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That vibe. Yeah, listen, I don't kink shame, but damn, what are you into, Los? God damn.
What am I? I'm
Dirty
everywhere,
under.
man.
Come on, man.
You said waste product. That's the first thing I thought
know.
about.
Yeah, I know
Wasted
you
We're
would.
just
I
gonna
knew you
cut this
would.
whole section out. We're just
No
gonna
way.
pretend it didn't know.
No way.
We're gonna clip
'Cause
this.
Keep that in.
There's somebody in their car right now laughing their ass off.
Yeah,
So, you know.
keep that in.
There's someone in their car shipping their pants right now.
Yeah.
Literally.
laughing to death, man. Do you still like doing these kind of things, like the big shows and stuff?
Yeah, to an extent.
Travel's hard.
Travel's so hard. I always tell people, what's the worst thing about traveling? They're like, what? Traveling.
But you didn't have to travel for this show, which is
No.
great, which is why we love it.
I think that this is my favorite show. It allows me to be way more prepared and bring way more stuff.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
you're more confined into what can I
Right.
fit in this suitcase.
Yeah.
Now I got my whole car full of, you never know what's going to happen. But it allows me to be more prepared in the sense of models. I think when it comes to doing hair, the most important thing is the model, especially if you're showcasing anything. I've seen a lot of people compete with horrible models. I've seen a lot of people showcase in video horrible models because that's all that was available. But I tell people, I'm like, look, dude, invest. If you got to pay a model $100 to show up, and it's a good-looking girl or a good-looking guy with gray hair, that little $100 that you're going to give that person, that investment, is going to take your work to the next level, rather than getting like a 5'4" chubby person with no neck and wrong. It's like, I don't care how good you do that haircut, it's not going to be the same reaction and the same outcome than somebody that you would invest. So my biggest thing is always focus on the best model. So when I come to shows, for example, like ABS, and I'm prepared where every model that I have is ideal, something I would want to find, then that's great. But when I'm at shows, when there is no models, no one's available, and I got to cut the salesman or the janitor that's available, and now I'm just working with what I have. But for a tip for that is, whenever you come across somebody that is not the perfect model, for example, they're receding, their hair's the worst, use that problem to educate the class. Look at this issue that I have here. How would I fix it if it was up to me? Well, this is what I would do to make it better. Because now you're giving value rather than trying to create something out of nothing and hope it comes out right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I had somebody that had, like 4 colics, and I'm like, oh crap. Well, what would if I was back in my shop? How would I handle it? That's what I'm teaching, and now people are like, now I get it.
That's actually, you know what, for an educator, that's a great takeaway.
Thank you, man.
You know, like don't teach teach what you can. Don't teach don't teach what's not there or not available.
If you can't find ideal looks, right? But
Sure.
any problem that you have, man, if you cut somebody, hey, listen, I'm not perfect, but listen, if this happens to you, this is how I would control the cut, the bleeding, and this and that. Now you're turning an issue that where most people would collapse and close and shut down and start sweating and back and everything. you take that problem and just teach someone that's never seen anything like that and be like, oh, that's what I got to do to stop bleeding. Cool.
Yeah, I think that takes a certain amount of, like, I don't want to say experience, but I feel
experience.
Experience.
Like
you have to learn to be on your feet and to not have, like you mentioned, like that nervousness and insecurity to shut down, to just be able to go with the flow. There was a hair artist that I really adore, who was at IBS New York. We were just there a few weeks ago. Who was doing a stage presentation and was working with a hair tool with a girl who had really thin hair, and so he like finished in like 15 minutes styling her hair and was like, I still have like 45 minutes left in this presentation. Like, what the hell am I going to do? And just started working with different styles. Like, I have ponytails. I would want to use like, more of an elastic, and just kind of like went with it. And it was so great because it's like, one, here's how efficient the hair tool can be that you can get done like that. Two, here's how you can work on the fly. But I think that's not something that everyone's able to do right away. You got to like learn that.
Looks.
Created multiple looks. So showing how quick you're able to do it, like, it was great. But I think it's very easy in that moment to like shut down and just like be like, oh, what do you do, and have like a mini panic attack. But I think it takes something.
I've been through it and I've seen it, and I'm always watching people and watching things and learning from them. So over the years, I've learned that I've shut down. And another thing that's tough for anyone listening that wishes to be an educator or is an educator is teaching to nobody, right? Sometimes when you got on a Saturday and you're the first one up at 9 a.m. and there's no one watching you, how do you keep that interaction to feel like you're talking to people? One of the things that I love to do is put a camera in front of me, right? I have one camera in front of me, like we have here, and instead of, in my head, there's no one, empty chairs, but I can pretend there's a million people in that camera. So now I'm in here talking like, hey guys, today I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you take this here. I'm so controlled that now it draws people in because how my demeanor is.
Yeah.
But most people, what I've seen when there's nobody watching, they got their mic, they're just cutting hair. Yeah. Not saying a word.
I've seen that.
So if I'm walking by and you're just mic'd up and you're not saying anything and there's no one watching you, what's going to tell me to walk over there and have a seat?
Yeah.
So have these little techniques that kind of help you. Sometimes people will people have said, put a picture of your girlfriend or a person on the chair. Just a picture and talk to that picture.
Yeah.
Or even if you're filming yourself, put a picture of a person of my dog in front of the camera. I can talk to my dog and it looks like I'm talking to the camera.
But the camera is a super smart thing to have because then you have the content for social media to post, and then that reaches a whole new audience of people, so that's great.
Some people can talk in front of people, some people can talk in front of cameras. I think I'm better in person to people than I am on camera. And it's just hard. For whatever reason, I overthink it when I see the camera because I'm thinking about how do I look, how do I feel, and then I just lose myself. But when I'm in front of people, there's no going back.
No, that's it.
What you say and what happens, so you deal with it. So it allows me to move more fluently and more controlled. Yeah.
So another thing I want to ask you while we're on this topic, because we did talk to John Mosley about this in a previous episode, but since we are here at a trade show, do you feel like, because also I feel like it's something I've been very much aware of is, as a hair professional, you want to take care of you, your body, and these trade shows can be very exhausting, very draining. Do you find, like, because you mentioned that part, like, not talking, do you find, like, you kind of have a different approach when you're, like, on a main stage or you're, like, at a booth and you're demoing something or, like, in terms of, like, taking care of you and projecting voice, like, all of that, like, sort of the public speaking
Always
aspect
take
of
care
it?
of yourself. A lot of people are big on breakfast. I'm not. I fast every day. Ideally, if I could, I want to. I just try to stay hydrated. Understand that every stage, whether it's a barber stage, a booth stage, a main stage, requires a different approach. So don't do the same thing on everything. For example, if you're in the main stage, do something that's going to be more visually out there rather than try to do just a fade on the main stage because no one is going to really see the fade that close. So what can we do, whether it's color, whether it's shape, what can we do that's going to catch your attention from far? Now, when you're in a booth, it's ideal to be more technical now. Now you want to do fade, you can break down, people are closer to you, they can see. So every stage has a different approach is what I recommend. But taking care of yourself, man. I'm 30, I'll be 38 this year. In my 20s, when I first signed with Babyliss, we were partying all night and going to the shows and pulling a 12-hour shift like it was nothing. I can't do that today. Hell no, I can't do that today. If I'm not on the
what are they called? Viejo.
Yeah, exactly.
Viejo.
So now, get some sleep, get some rest. If you're working for a brand or under a brand, or even you building your own brand, treat this like a real job, man. Get some rest, get some sleep, plan accordingly, and perform. Right? I think a lot of people get lost with seeing so many people, so many beautiful people, and then they want to party. I see already a line by the liquor. People are trying to get drunk, and this is cool. But ask yourself, why are you here? Are you here to just get messed up?
Well, but I think some people do, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we definitely see amateur night a lot here.
Yeah.
You
So,
know what I mean?
yeah, you see that. Oh, yeah, getting carried out and all that. But if that's gonna help you get loose and mingle with people and come and give you courage to walk up to me, to other people, beautiful. But just have that control and always treat it as a job.
Hey, what's going on with Tomb 45?
As far as
Like, are they doing a collab with?
they did a collab, man, and I always say this. I'm like, Zach, I'm getting paid to say this. Technically, I am, but I love that tool. I think that tool.
What is it? What is it?
It's a clipper and a trimmer and a blow dryer.
But doesn't Tomb 4 aren't they also a clipper company?
It was a tricky situation because being signed with Level 3 and being in a, and not even just, I'm an owner of Level 3, 1% shareholder, and it's a wet line, and then you got a wet line 245 that's collaborating with Babyliss, and they came up with a clipper. It became kind of hard to kind of be like, all right, what's the conflict of interest, what isn't? But because it's a tool, not a wet line, there's a tool that they worked on, and worked on very well. It kind of like was a loophole for me to still utilize and represent the tool. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first got the tool, I didn't want to like it. Babyliss comes out with tools every couple months, so I'm always got plenty of clippers. And this one, I put it in my hands, I started cutting, and it was fabulous. You can see that's someone that cuts hair. You can see the quality of work they put into it, and to this day, it's my favorite tool. It's probably the hottest selling right now. They oversold from what I'm hearing, but good to them, man. I mean, to do a collaboration with a company like Babyliss is not something easy, you know.
No.
And they did very well. I love the tool. I don't know if you guys got to see it, but it's such
No,
a
I haven't.
beautiful tool.
I'm definitely dying to see
Yeah,
it.
it's beautiful
And
tool.
is that on? Like, can you buy it on the website? and
Yeah,
stuff?
it's
On the
available
Baby-
now.
on
It dropped
Babyliss?
in April. No, in March. March 15th, if I'm not mistaken, it dropped. We did a show for it in Tampa in March, I think, early March, and we debuted it there, and it was amazing. It's great. And a lot of the times, you know, you get educators, you go walk around this entire show floor, right? And another tip for educators. When I'm walking around and all I hear you is talking to me about your tool, how many RPM speeds it got, this and that, the blade and all that. I don't want to hear that. Show me what you can do with it. So when I educate, I tell you what clipper I'm using and why I like it, but I'm gonna show you what it can do.
Right.
And that is what's really gonna get the people.
You have to
buy
be really
into.
visual.
Yeah. And
Now he can say, I'm going to use this. I use this on a horse.
yeah.
I cut horsehair with this.
Play the video. But you'll walk around and you'll hear people, you know, this flat iron goes to 450 degrees, and they're just reciting what they
It's a
were
sales
told.
pitch.
The paper.
And, you know, from someone that could read between the lines, I see right through all that. And it's okay. Maybe they're just starting off, kicking it off. But if you listen to this and you're in the field, man, sell yourself. When you sell yourself to the people, I don't care what you sell, dirty underwear or clippers, they're gonna buy from you, man. And that's the number one thing that I've been able to realize.
I want to buy your dirty underwear now.
We're gonna have them
My
ready for you
God.
later. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Like, all right, Corey, here you go.
Dinner on me. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's as far as the 245, man, kudos to them for doing a major collab, and they did it right. They did a really
That's
good job.
cool.
So,
How's level 3 been?
oh, beautiful, man. Biggest stage as of yet. We haven't had a big stage the way we have it today. Man,
Well, they show up though.
we show up, man.
Yeah,
we
they
show
show
up.
up.
And there's a lot of work behind. Shout out to Jay, Terry, the whole squad, all the level 3. And it's so cool because the level 3 is like the Hairdustry or the Presley Pope and Friends of shows.
In what sense?
In every sense. So let's take it back, right? When
That's
I'm
a
working
bold
with
word, man.
yeah, when I'm working with Babyliss, it's very corporate, very professional, very clean, show
Con Air.
letters, Con Air, right? Just button up and go work. When I work with level 3, it's more chill. I'm having dinner with the CEO in shorts and a tank top, and we're just kind of fall back because I was able to build with them when they first kicked it off. So now being the company they became, I'm kind of grandfathered in, and they're way more nonchalant. Instead of hotels, they'll get Airbnb mansions, and we all stay there, and we do the whole friends and barbecue and grill.
Love that.
So that level of intimacy with team building compared to where where Babyliss is more like, all right, everybody gets their hotel, meet at the lobby at 8:30. So I get to see both worlds, man, and I truly love it, man. And they both operate in their own way. So when I got to go to Presley Pope and Friends and I experienced that, it took me to how we go. We just came back from Italy in March. We went to Bologna, and we got a beautiful mansion in Florence, and we were just there, and we had oven brick pizzas made, and it was just such a vibe.
Crazy.
Very similar to what we do with Presley. So that is the major difference in a corporate world and somewhat
That's right.
corporate, but you know, a little chill.
Yeah.
Little more chill there.
A little more chill, you
Little more
know?
chill there. That's
But
awesome.
yeah, that's what it reminded me of, man. Really good.
All right, before we bounce out of here, you got any parting words?
Yeah.
So
So
it seems like all of them were parting words, to be honest. Like,
right.
just so much like
So
just
many
much
nuggets of
like
wisdom.
nuggets. Exactly. It's
Thank
so
you,
great.
man. Yeah, I think anyone that gets this far, or even if we clip this, I just want you guys to understand that this is what I've always been doing. I give my everything to this industry, and where I'm at right now in my career is I'm just willing to give it all away, everything, and even if it helps one person become a better person, that's the thing. So be open to learning and take from people. You guys heard the expression, right? I wish I knew then what I know now, because I would move so different. And I tell people that are my age, even older, is like, look, dude, you can still bring that to life if you connect with people that are younger, in your 20s and early 20s, and you kind of take what's relevant in the world that they know that you don't know, because we're too old, right? Quote unquote, we're old. I always take my knowledge and everything that I've learned and all my experience, and I try to give it to someone so young that has a different vision than me, because they're younger. So that I wish I knew then what I know now. I'm literally giving everything to them, and now we're building together, and that's how we connect with the younger audience, and then still stay in the loop with our older audience. And that's been my biggest takeaway, man, just working with people that are younger than me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for making the time for us today.
Of course,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for chatting. Excited to see you again in a few weeks. Presley Poe and Friends.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire.
Friends.
Guys.
Hey, Lois, do you know that guy right there? Mr. Vernon Jackson?
Hey!
Oh, you got heroes. That's
Oh my gosh, it's friend of the podcast.
So Vernon is doing the good work, man. He's from Cleveland. Nope, Cincinnati.
Ooh, that was
He's from
close.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He almost came over the table.
It was like not
so he's from
Cleveland.
Cincinnati, and what he's doing is amazing. He marks off a couple of days in his book a week, and he's really connecting with autistic kids and cutting their hair, and like it's like he's done a bunch of videos that have gone super viral, and like they're just so heartwarming and so just touch your heart, you know what I mean? And like doing it's another way that our industry can
Give back.
I don't want to say give back, because I think it's overused, but
That's true.
But
Keep giving.
It's the way
Keep
that our
on
industry can
Love on?
just show up.
Show up. Yeah.
Show up, support.
Just show up and show up for everyone. And like when I heard about his story, like I was like, we got to book him.
Beautiful, man.
You know,
Congrats.
it was awesome,
and that's what's up. I'm all about anyone that's willing to give back to the industry, you know? And on that note, and just, I know you wanted to close it out with something. I did want to mention, I do have a barber supply store here in Chicago, and we do bi-weekly, if not monthly, free education.
Love that.
For people, right? And we've been doing it since December. We've been doing 2 classes every month, and we pack house every rip. And,
Whoa, that's
and
right.
the amount of gratitude that people have been telling me, like, man, nothing like this exists. Thank you for having that. It just kind of brings me back to that. What he's doing, giving back and helping those autistic children. That's a big, and I think what you give back, you're gonna get and receive way more.
Exactly.
And I'm already experiencing that now, man, and I'm sure you're already getting it back. So it's a beautiful thing, and that's really what fulfills our hearts, right? Like all this glamour stuff is cool, but giving back, man, and really getting people to appreciate that's the fulfillment right there.
Yes.
That's what brings happiness.
Where is it? The education.
I'm by the United Center on
Nice.
Grand, on Grand and Damon. It's called Headquarters Chicago. Look us up on Google or anything, Headquarters Chicago, and free education every 2 weeks, if not every month.
That's
Amazing.
awesome. How can they find out about the education?
Google Headquarters Chicago. We got it on Instagram, Headquarters Chicago. If not, you can follow me, Los Cut It, Los_cut_it, or you can just Google Los Cut It for all my social media platforms.
Hey, who cut your hair?
I do.
Los cut it.
Yeah.
Los Cut It.
No one answered you. Yeah, I didn't even thought about that. Yeah, Los Cut It. I should have said that.
Damn,
I would have
man.
been speaking in third person, though. I don't know.
So who cut your hair?
Los Cut It.
There you go. That's it.
Boom,
Los,
mic
thank
drop.
you so much, man. Thanks for making time for us, and thank you
course,
very, very much for joining us on your day off.